The grand chamber of the Stellar Council stretched nearly a kilometer in every direction. Its vastness meant to humble even the most powerful beings in the galaxy. The ceiling arched so high that pale mist drifted through its upper reaches, curling lazily around colossal columns older than many civilizations. Tier upon tier of delegates filled the chamber, more than 300 sentient species, from palm-sized furred creatures perched in hovering seats to towering giants anchored to reinforced platforms. At the center stood a circular dais of luminous white crystal, reserved for moments of consequence. On this day, the presence upon it made even veteran delegates uneasy. Supreme Warlord Theric of the Drathian Dominion loomed over 7 feet tall, his dark emerald hide almost black under the chamber lights. Gold slit-pupiled eyes swept the hall with predatory calm. His ceremonial armor gleamed like liquid metal, a crimson mantle draped across his broad shoulders. For over a millennium, the Drathians had conquered system after system, believing only power deserved survival. "Esteemed members of the Council," Theric began, his voice low and abrasive, "I stand before you to issue an official proclamation." The chamber fell silent. Even the faint hum of translation fields faded. For too long, the Terran Union has been permitted to infest the outer systems unchecked. They seize worlds, erect stations, and expand into regions never meant for them. Within the human delegation, Envoy Marisol Cortez sat motionless. She appeared small beside the Drathian warlord, dark hair pulled neatly back, expression composed, wearing a plain charcoal uniform. Nothing about her suggested danger. "We warned them," Theric continued, "ordered them to halt, demanded withdrawal. They nodded politely and continued exactly as before." He turned slowly, ensuring every corner of the chamber felt his gaze. "The Drathian Dominion hereby declares a state of war against the Terran Union." Gasps rippled through the hall. Formal declarations of war were rare now. Conflict was usually resolved through economics or arbitration. Open war was considered crude. Cortez rose. Protocol allowed an immediate response. She ascended the dais unhurriedly and faced the towering warlord. "Supreme Warlord," she said evenly, "the Terran Union seeks no hostility. The systems we settled were uninhabited. We claimed nothing that belonged to you." Theric barked a harsh laugh. "Uninhabited, those regions lie along our expansion corridors. Your presence is an affront." "The galaxy is vast," Cortez replied. "There is room for every civilization." Theric stepped closer, his shadow swallowing her. "In 5 decades, your kind has expanded from 1 system to nearly 100. How long before our borders look conveniently empty?" Cortez did not retreat. "Humanity has pursued cooperation, not conquest." "Peace is the luxury of the weak," Theric snarled, "and the weak do not endure." He turned to the chamber and activated a hologram. Hundreds of warships appeared in perfect formation. 100 newly forged capital vessels, he declared. Against this, the Terrans command fewer than 50 outdated ships. This war will end in weeks. Cortez studied the display. A faint, restrained smile touched her lips. "Before lives are lost," she said. "I request 3 days. There are procedures to complete, messages to send." Theric laughed again. 3 days to pray? Very well, you may have them. It will change nothing." "I hope you remember this exchange," Cortez said softly, then returned to her seat. As the council dispersed, most delegates reached the same conclusion. Humanity stood no chance. Hours later, Cortez stood alone in her office, staring into the star-filled void. She activated a secure console, encryption so advanced it existed nowhere outside Earth. "They are unaware. Confirm status and advise." The message leapt across hidden relays unregistered in any galactic database, racing toward Earth. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in a facility that officially did not exist, Fleet Commander Richard Hale read the message twice. Then he rose, opened a concealed safe, and withdrew a heavy dossier marked with security clearances known to only a handful of people. Inside were contracts, hundreds of them, shipbuilding agreements signed quietly over 15 years. Buyers scattered across the galaxy. Sellers hidden behind harmless corporate names. Hale tallied the numbers: 183 warships, all built in human shipyards, all now pointed at humanity. Hale laughed once, softly, then opened a channel to the Joint Chiefs. Priority Omega. 15 years earlier, a group of human engineers floated inside a remote construction site at the edge of the solar system. Beyond the viewport, the skeletal frame of a massive station assembled slowly among ice and debris. "Who would ever come out here to buy ships?" one engineer muttered. "That's why it works," replied Aaron Cole, the project's lead designer. "No one will even know this place exists." Forge Hub became the heart of humanity's quiet strategy. Every ship passed through layers of front companies. Every buyer believed the origin untraceable. At first, the orders were civilian, then escorts, then patrol ships, then came the Drathians. Human engineers delivered exactly what was promised, flawless vessels, rigorously tested. The Drathians never realized that every blueprint, every tolerance, every limitation was understood in intimate detail by the hands that built them. Back in the present, the Drathian armada surged toward human space, 200 warships emerging into the frozen emptiness of Margin's reach. Opposing them were just 43 human vessels, led by Admiral Hale aboard the flagship Vanguard. By every known metric, defeat was inevitable. Yet Hale showed no concern. The human fleet suddenly scattered, accelerating along dozens of vectors. Confusion rippled through Drathian targeting systems. Then the first human shot fired. It did not strike armor or weapons. It hit a convergence node buried deep within a cruiser's systems. The ship went dark, no explosion, no screams, just silence. Another cruiser followed, then a battleship. Entire formations lost power, drifting helplessly as human vessels flowed through them with surgical precision. "How do they know where to strike?" a Drathian officer whispered. They knew because they had built them. The Drathian flagship charged forward in desperation. Hale waited, then ordered a single focused strike. The flagship went dark. Within an hour, more than 100 Drathian warships drifted powerless. Not one had been destroyed. No lives were lost. A transmission opened. Hale appeared on the Drathian commander's screen. "I could end this," Hale said calmly. "But I won't. You may withdraw, or we can continue disabling every fleet you send." The Drathian commander stared at the silent bridge around him, pride crumbling under reality. 3 weeks later, the Stellar Council reconvened. Cortez stood once more at the dais. "For 15 years, she said. Human firms built ships for many of you. There was no sabotage, no kill switches, only understanding. She released every schematic publicly. We prefer partners over enemies. We would rather build your ships than fight them." The chamber remained silent. Then, slowly, agreements were renewed. Contracts signed. Former enemies returned as clients. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had made themselves indispensable, and the stars would never see them the same way again.